Hello and welcome. This is Lavender Sky Panther. Today is Monday, April 20th, 2020, and today's topic is called Solar and Cloud Play. It's a collection of images of sky observations happening between April 12th and 19th. And today I'd like to kick it off with an image of some fresh garden herbs. The cilantro in this bunch was actually particularly nice to cook with. And I'd just like to say welcome and warm greetings to everybody and wish you a good day. Osio, how, buongiorno, guten tag, kia ora, jambo, buenos dias, bonjour, ni hao, dzień dobre, and I'll skip ahead to aloha awinala and galimera. So I'm going to start off with a series of photos, and I probably have more questions than I have answers for today, so I'm kind of going to blow through them pretty quickly. But I hope you find some interesting, and I hope you're noticing them happening wherever you are in the world as well. So in this case, on April 17th, looking northwest at about close to 7:30 p.m., I noticed this, and it looked like almost like a dragon emerging or a spine-type shape. It was very elegant, very poetic, even balletic. But then I started looking in, and I just started to see these fingers, almost like a hand, and then these waves. So there's a lot of different motion and energy happening in this. I don't even know quite how that would form in nature in the clouds, and yet it is. So I zoomed in on this particular part because, of course, you clearly see these waves. And I have seen on other sky watching channels, people from around the world have sent in photos capturing this kind of phenomenon. I just have never witnessed it myself until recently. All right, similar thing. This just happened a little bit later, looking in a slightly different position in the sky. And again, I noticed these strange fingers. These are happening in a more horizontal motion. These are happening on an angle. So I can't even say like, oh, that must be a microwave activity, which microwaves are just a form of electromagnetic radiation, or some other kind of electromagnetic activity is happening, because these are happening this way, this is happening, isolated over here. So it's not like it seems like it's coming from the same even source or angle. Then we've got some of these cumulus puffy clouds happening back here, some really odd things happening back here, and then this looks like it's trying to form cirrocumulus, but it's far too low in the sky. So this was just such a hodgepodge and mix and match of different clouds happening all in the same frame. I just thought I've got to capture that and share that with you guys. This is just a blow up, a zoom in on those kind of finger-like clouds. All right, next I have a question. Cloaked craft, it's what it seemed like to me, because on April 11th, close to 3:30, looking east, I saw this formation, and it was just gliding across the sky, very low, again, very low gray dark clouds, with this other kind of arc happening in front of it. The void, if you look at it, is very much like a delta wing, or a triangular boomerang type shaped wing, but it held its formation as it sailed along. That's what I found very intriguing. And then here it even looks like it's like leaving a little trail maybe. So I don't know if that's just something cloaking in there, or if it's the overall shape in here, or what is going on, but I thought that was very interesting to show you. All right, next, cloud or craft question. This looks very triangular to me. Actually, even looks like a pendulum. I zoomed in and changed the contrast, although I think you see it just as well down here. But this was an overall dark cloud formation just kind of coming up on the fly, and this was just such a specific object, even detached a little bit from the lower system. It was worth noting. I thought I'd share it with you. To me, it's a craft, but you be the judge on your own too, what you think it is. All right, similar thing. This is kind of some kind of chaotic puffs in the sky, but then this had a very sharp edge to it, so I zoomed in. It looks like a cup, but again, I do believe something is cloaking in here, just because this does not fit with the others, this in terms of shape and form, and this kind of haze around it is kind of indicative of when something is trying to use vapor or plasma or something to cloak itself. But again, if you have a different opinion, that's fine, and I do welcome in the comment section any other ideas somebody might have on what I'm showing. Okay, here's another example. This is looking south of just an object trying to emerge out of nowhere. So you have a otherwise blue sky, and then I don't know if this is water vapor or plasma or whatnot, but then there's like a void starting, some kind of disturbance happening, and then you have this echoing of this curve is happening here in the void, and, like in a negative space. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I zoomed in. I tried to draw something out further, but I just still get that void, and to me it actually looks like a leaping puma, just for fun. Okay, so here's a question. What's going on with these very low gray clouds? I use the term clouds loosely, because I'm seeing this phenomenon happen all over the world with other sky watching channels and people sending in their photos from around the world. Everyone's kind of coming up with the same question: why are we having such low cloud forms? And in my case, I just keep seeing very gray ones, regardless of more cumulus cloud-like activity happening behind it. They just come in really low. So if anybody has any ideas on that, please let me know. All right, these I'm calling sky wisps with a question mark. I don't know what else to call them. To me, they're not, and I repeat, not chemtrails this time. I haven't seen those in my area since about March 22nd. Haven't seen the typical telltale streams, of exact trails. I've seen foggy masses up in the sky of chemical in the last weeks, but not this last week. And so, I'm just kind of wondering what's happening, but luckily no distinct, typical trails happening. So these are something else. They seem very organic. They seem very beautiful, very poetic even. And I don't know if they're plasma or if they're made out of just water vapor, but they just kind of materialize, and I'm not sure why. So if you have any ideas on that too, again, please let me know in the comment section. All right, here are those wisps again, and this time the sun is setting over in this direction to the right. So it was a very red-pink sun, and these really were reflecting beautiful red and pink color, more so and more vibrant than what my camera could capture. But again, they're just very wisp-like. It's like it reminds me of a beautiful, ethereal flame or smoke signal, or like a little fire twister, whatever you want to see in it. But it was very beautiful, very elegant. All right, I'm sorry, this should be saying looking west, but this was on April 12th, a little before and a little after 6 o'clock in the evening. And I have a question: object near the sun. So, in a previous show, I do talk about the possibility of technology being up in our sky and interfering with how we perceive the sun and concealing objects around the sun. So in this case, I don't know. I'm just going to refer to it as a little moon. I don't know if this is artificial or if it's a celestial body or a planet or what, but this seems to be an object that does orbit around the sun. So in this case, when dark clouds roll in, it's a perfect moment. It showcases this object. And so you can see artificial body or celestial body, very perfectly round and visible. Not a sun object generating its own light, because then I shouldn't be able to see it, so I believe it's just reflecting light. Or if it does generate its own, it's just very low volume. But then I think this is more the sun and has more golden color to it, and it's really shining. Now there may be lens work or tech, again, over or veiling the sun and controlling how it operates. Look at my previous video for that. But whatever the case, I'm just calling this the sun and this an object. So again, you see the object, what should be the sun, and again, object, but in this case, is this the sun? Because it's also illuminating very brightly here. All right, another sequence, similar idea. This weird formation of light is either beaming out or whatnot behind a very, very dark cloud here. And then we have a burst of light activity, presumably the sun coming out here. But then this thing starts to join and become one mass of light, right? And then we still have our little independent object, moon-like object here. So in the next frame, then we have the moon-like object. Again, this is presumably the sun because it has a warmer golden color that is of the natural sun, at least the one we all remember if you've been on the planet, even more than a couple decades. And then in this captures very strange because but we also have like a beam. I don't know if it's shooting off or behind, but it's coming down, and then there's some kind of interference, and then the golden sun. So do your own homework there. See what you think could be happening. Again, this is that weird shape that this is making. See? And now something's coming in between this, but now we've got a burst of light where we didn't before. So just find that very curious. Conjecture as you will what could be happening. All right, then we have looking southwest at 7:20 p.m. on April 12th. This ball I could see without any filter, without any sunglasses, pure as day, round, 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 not pulsing, nothing. I should not be able to see the solar ball at any moment like that, and yet I could. Now, a little bit earlier, I caught a cloud, dark cloud. Again, that's when you can showcase some things happening. Dark cloud passed over, and then it looks like, look at the profile of this thing. It's bulbous, and then it indents and comes in here. So that tells me that there's probably this object, and then maybe a disk object, disk-like, or or spherical object behind it, because now that one is showcasing some really yellow golden to it, right? Where this was just, it looks white, but it really was mostly peach in color. So something's happening with the sun. I really do believe there's some type of solar tech up there, so do check out my previous show on that. Alright, so I like to wrap things up with an image of nature if I can, and in this case I had a great opportunity. Got a little typo here, it should be looking up at banana plants on April 16th at 4:30. So I emphasize plant, not tree, because it's actually a flowering herb since it has no woody stem nor wood trunk. Now I wasn't sure what to even call this, I thought it was just beautiful, very elegant. So that is the flower bud, and it has male flowers and female flowers and petals. So the other thing I didn't know is that an individual banana, the fruit, is called a finger, and that a whole row or tier of them is called a hand, and of course the big lot of them is called a bunch. So the bunch is growing on a true stem, they say, not a false stem, because the false stem is supposedly just the tightly rolled leaf stalk. So anyway, I learned a bit about bananas today, and I hope you did too. And keep researching if you like, because they're really fascinating. There's much more depth on these things and how they morph and grow. It's really beautiful. All right, well, for now I say thank you for crossing paths with me here. I have the fun image of the day is another peacock. So I had some on a previous show, but this one's different, in a different street at a different time. And he just ran right across, so I was able to get a picture of him, though. Really beautiful. So I wanted to note that the peacock as a spirit animal can symbolize and represent many things. For now, I'll just note beauty, confidence, protection, healing. It can be associated with good fortune and compassion. And in mythology, it refers to them as guardians of the earth, protectors of peace, and much more. For example, if you like to meditate, these are referred to as eyes, on the feathers, and you can just stare into the eye and focus and meditate that way. But anyway, there's a lot to these as well that are worth researching, past what I've noted. So enjoy if you do that. So in the meantime, thank you so much for being here. I wish you a beautiful day or evening wherever you are in the world, and I wish you best and warm wishes and tremendous peace. Thanks so much. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.